Hi everyone, it's Miss Savage here. I'm going to show you today some basic things that we can do for printmaking using things around the house. The kind of prints that we're going to do are called block prints, and they look, hopefully by the end, a little bit like African wax block prints. Before we start, we need to make sure that we've got everything that we need, and hopefully these are going to be things that you have around the house. The first thing that we're going to use is an old potato, because we're going to be doing some potato printing. The next thing is if you've got any kind of old lids, we've got some masking tape, some different paints. This is acrylic paint or any kind of water-based paint, watercolour tubes, those kind of things. We need a knife, just a normal kitchen knife, a pencil and a paintbrush if you've got one. If not, you can use a sponge. One of the other things that can be quite useful is just having a paper plate for putting the paint out. Okay, so we're going to prepare our potato. The other equipment that I think might be quite useful if you've got one is just either some toilet roll or some kitchen roll, just one piece, because when you cut your potato there's quite a lot of starch in it. You can choose the shape of your print by thinking about the shape of your potato. So I want a sort of longer narrow print, so I'm going to cut down that way with a normal knife. So you'll see as I cut that there is a little bit of liquid coming out. So again, so that we can get a good print, if you just put the potato onto the paper like that. We're going to do a 3-colour print. So 2 of the prints are going to be with the potato and the other one is going to be with the lid that we use later on. So what's quite nice is if we have one piece of the potato and we just keep it very simple. You can either just leave it like that, not do anything to it, or just cut in with the edge of the knife a little bit of texture so that you've got that as one colour later on for the background. So I've kind of just cut in a few little pieces on there. So we're going to put that to one side, and with our other piece of potato we're actually going to cut in to make the shape. So again, if you need somebody to help you, I'm sure you can ask, but basically if you use the table knife you can actually cut away little pieces so that you start to get a bit of a pattern. Advice would be to keep it really simple. So you might just have a few little bits that are nice and raised up, and those are the bits that are going to print. Those of you that have done lino with me, it's kind of the same thing but a little bit safer. We don't have to use a safety block or anything like that, and then you keep going until you've got the shape you want. Better if you can just to do a really simple pattern, a star, maybe a heart, those kind of things. So now we're ready to start our first colour print. One of the mistakes people always make when they're doing any kind of printing is they use too much ink. I've got a paintbrush, but you can use a sponge or anything like that. We're just going to put that on the plate so that it's nice and thin. This is going to be the background colour for our print, so it's a yellow and it's quite nice and light. We're just going to put the potato on there, but just keep moving it around a little bit just to make sure that we haven't got too much. So now we're just going to start trying to print this onto the paper. We'll just do it like that so that we've got this shape. Do make sure when you've done your first colour that you leave it to dry. You should be able to do this so that you can't really feel the other paint. And then we're going to do a really different colour so that that shows up on top, so we can have the patterned one that we cut out earlier. So this time I've got a bit of green, but you can use any colours that you have around. And again, just pushing down on the top of that so that we get this print to carry on this pattern. So one of my favourite things to print with at home that I used to do when I was a student actually quite a lot is just using different types of bottle lids, because they give you a perfect circle and you can repeat them and print them all over the place. That's just kind of adding an extra texture using our pink paint.